Sean Kenny, you have 3 minutes.
Thank you. It has been said that people in Ireland today under the age of 40 may be unaware of what Irish society was like during the era that is described in the McAleese report. The writer and journalist John Cooney published a book in 1999 with the title John Charles McQuaid, Ruler of Catholic Ireland. In his well-researched work, Cooney refers to the Magdalene Laundries in the Archdiocese of Dublin during the Archbishop McQuaid's stewardship. And in page 52 of this book I quote, "Worse even than the austere regime which applied in industrial schools such as Artane for boys and Golden Bridge for girls were the conditions of, quote, fallen women, unquote, engaged in laundry and menial work in the 4 Magdalene Laundries in the Dublin Archdiocese at Donnybrook, Drumcondra, Dundleary and Lower Gloucester Street. A particular harrowing story was that of a 14-year-old Martha who was sent to Drumcondra in 1942 to repent for, I quote, telling a shameful lie, unquote. She had been indecently assaulted by a relative, but her aunts did not believe her." In page 278 of the same book, Cooney refers further to the Magdalene Laundries, and I quote, "Unmarried mothers were placed in Magdalene Laundries where they were forced by nuns to engage in slave labour and as laundry workers and cleaning women. This was also a period when Ireland was ruled politically, for the most part, by Fianna Fáil leader Eamon de Valera as Taoiseach, and he was later President of Ireland. This period is often referred to as de Valera's Ireland. In his book, John Charles McQuaid, Ruler of Catholic Ireland, John Cooney describes in chapter 10 of his book how Eamon de Valera as Taoiseach intervened in 1940 to convince Pope Pius XI to appoint John Charles McQuaid as Archbishop of Dublin and to appoint Maynooth Professor Michael Browne as Bishop of Galway. In 2011, I welcomed the Interdepartmental Committee of Inquiry headed by the former Senator Martin McAleese, and I was pleased to learn then that all government departments and their records will be made available for the committee's work. I also said at the time that I welcome Minister Shatter's assurances to the Justice for Magdalene's campaign that the development of a narrative of state interaction with the Magdalene Laundries would consider acts of omission on the part of the state, in particular the state's failure to inspect and regulate and thereby prevent abuse in the laundries. The state, including the government and individual deputies like myself, have to remember that the issue of the Magdalene Laundries is fundamentally about the women who spend time in the institutions. It is also about their children. Most of the survivors are ageing and elderly. Some women feel that both church and state have pursued a policy of denial until it was absolutely necessary. It is for their sakes that the church and state consider offering an apology. I also want to put on the record of this House, as I said in 2011, that I feel society owes these women an apology, not merely the state or the church. The reality is that the Magdalene Laundries would not have functioned in Irish society without the implicit consent of that society.
Thank you, Deputy.
And in many respects, the blame rests on all of us.